Education is not equal to literacy, and literally, literacy is not equal to education in simple words. I, Ikshita Domakonda, am standing in front of you all to speak something regards education and the difference it makes with literacy. So let's begin. And I, of course, want to speak about the Indian education system. If you remember, in the year 1911, Gopalakrishna Gokhale was the person who eventually passed on a law to the Britishers exclaiming this, that there should be a right to education, right which could be introduced in the society then. As usual, the Britishers didn't take him into perspective and particularly just ignored him or were adamant about their own selves. Gopalakrishna Gokhale didn't give up then. There was Mahatma Gandhi, Ambedkar, and certain other leaders as well who eventually kept the perspective of education always in themselves, because India actually needed a beautiful right of education then. So as to make the people literate, so as to make the people know what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong, etc. Today, in the 21st century, after attaining almost around 75 years of independence, perhaps more than 75 years of independence, I want to speak about the education system. I'm of course not there to just speak about the positives of it, but I'm here to speak something negative as well. Well, please don't take this in a political manner. All I mean to say is that there is something else that could be done than what is just there. My perception on a whole to make this video is to make people understand this, that settling for the thing which is already there is not good. In simple words, the roof shall be broken, the glass ceiling shall be broken, the sky is the limit, etc. Well, I don't mean to sound complicated, but all that I want to say is that there could be more done. And to eventually make this perspective be understood, I want to begin. I, as a student in the classroom of a 10th class, of course hear lessons like any person. But then, while hearing the lessons, hearing about the same cell, hearing about the same nucleus, hearing about the same male reproductive and female reproductive system, hearing about the same freedom struggle, hearing about the same a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus 2ab plus b square, hearing about the same quantum theories, hearing about the same atoms which are very small, which are particularly particles which are not, which eventually make up everything around us, etc. The only question which comes to my brain is, how are the things that we are reading in the book related to the society? How is the theoretical knowledge given to the children through books applicable or applied in the society? I mean, how can they apply it to become literate and not just educated? Here again, I want to bring up the main difference between being literate and being educated. Being educated, like every person is afterwards educated. Even though you don't go to school, if you can eventually write a letter or read a para, you're considered an educated. Even if you sign, then you're considered as an educated. But literacy is far more different than compared to education. Literacy is nothing but knowing when to speak what, having the right conscience and having the right consciousness on the whole. In simple words, the Indian society is on a whole educated perhaps, but is lacking literacy. And that is my main concern now. Students in the school are considered the best if they get first rank, second rank, etc. But why not the students who speak well? Why not the students who are particularly literate? I mean, why not? Why can't the particular things studied in the book be applied to the practicality? Well, when my Telugu class was going on, I remember My teacher said me that the society at present, she was reading a padyam, which is a small stanza. She said this, that in the society, the poor people are the ones to be always served and not the rich people, because the rich people have got enough. Like, this was the way she said me. Like, this was the way she explained the poem. Because she was the teacher, because she was the supreme personality in the class, everyone were like, nice, we'll write the same things in the exam, we'll get marks, we're done. But then I wasn't satisfied with that. I wasn't satisfied with the thing explained by her. I tried to pose a question, and that question was, Madam, why do we consider the rich people as the ones who've got everything, when we already know this, that they are the ones who are depressed in the society as well? They are rich because they have material things called money, but then they don't have proper health, proper mentality, or proper literacy on a whole. So, is not helping such people when they are in need considered a human act? This was the question posed. As usual, my teacher shut my mouth and was asking me to sit, because all that she wanted was 10 GPAs. I myself study well, because of course that is what is the thing needed by the students, needed by the society now, needed by the students now to become good people, or you can say become settled people in the future. I accept that. I'm no exception to that. But then again, I want to pose this question. Why are we forgetting this, that illiteracy is there though the people are educated? Like, why are we forgetting the minimal acts which are to be adopted to make the education system not just a period of time, not just a period or a phase in a person's life, but something which could shape the person's life? Why not? I want everyone to just take a moment to think about it. Question yourself. What was that something which you learned in your school life or college life or your education phase of the life which stayed with you forever? And again, something which was learned from the book. What was that? Now, when I speak this in front of people, that is you all, you might get a question. So are you ready to eventually amend the textbooks? Are you ready to certainly amend the NCRTs, the the ICSE books, SSC books, and you know what else, JEE books, etc. If that is the question, then I would like to audaciously, vociferously say, yes. I as a student have no power to particularly amend all of the books out there in the market, in the education system. But then I certainly believe this, that I've got a voice. I've got a voice, I repeat, I've got a voice, I've got an audacity in me to make my perceptions be heard. And taking that into my perspective, I'm speaking today. One more thing which I want to introduce now is Chi Tokutaya. Now this is certainly something relevant to the Japanese system of education, where the students who study well aren't just pulled into the system, but the students who particularly are backlogged, are the students who don't have that mental ability to study well as well, are pulled forward to become as equal as the educated or the students who study well. So that is what is something which happens in Japan. When something so beautiful, when something very unbiased, I must say, if I'm allowed to use that word, can happen in Japan, then why not in India? Please question yourselves, citizens. I am here again, not just speaking as a mere 16-year-old. I am here speaking as the future of India, as the strength of India, as a youth, as a part of the youth of India who aims to make good changes, who aims to see a literal society and not just an educated society. Most of the times we see people on the roads, perhaps beggars as well, studying. We see people holding up books and we call them mad, right? I'm eventually speaking this part of the context now. I'm trying to speak this basing upon some ads or some certain visual clips which I saw. The people who read on the road, the beggars or who are educated enough, who speak English, are considered mad, are considered mentally ill. I mean, is that correct to give such a name tag to the persons? Or could there be something else done to pull them into the system of our society and make them better? Because when they've got that mental stability, then why are we certainly ignoring them? Ultimately, I want to say this, that our education system has got many flaws, where people are respected when they get first rank, second rank, etc. They're not respected for being honest. They're not respected for following what is there in the books, etc. One more life example which I want to give you is, in a recent lesson which I learned in my social textbook, it was written that our government is considered the best. The political system of our country is considered the best. There is everyone has got the right to speak. Everyone has got the right to protest for a valid reason. Then I asked my teacher, why is my book saying this when there is a lot of corruption, when there is a lot of crime, etc. happening in the society? Why is there something illiteral, if I'm allowed to say, written in my book when particularly the society isn't that? People die for speaking the truth. Not died. People are killed for speaking the truth. This is what is my society about. Then what is the thing which I'm learning from the textbook? Isn't that considered as a waste of time? I do see that as a waste of time. What is the point of studying something when you don't see it? Because education literally means that. Education in simple words is nothing but there being a proper equation, a proper equal symbol between the theory and the practicality of the society. Then what is this happening? On a whole, there are many flaws. On a whole, there are many doubts, many questions which are required to come up in a person's life. In a citizen's mind. Again, in an Indian citizen's mind. I know this, that I'm not the only one getting such questions in my mind. I also know this, that there are many others who are there with the confusion, who are perplexed with everything happening in the society, but who are again staying silent. Don't let this happen. Come up forward. Join your hands with each other to question. You've got the right. I repeat, you've got the right. The bulky book named Constitution gives you that right. Make use of it to the best score, to the best level, and bring out a change. Jai Hind. Don't let the dreams of Ambedkar, Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, etc. die. They wanted a literate society where people knew what is correct, where people know what is correct, what is wrong, etc. And where people particularly know when to question, when to speak, what not to speak, etc. But our society isn't like that. A person who has got many degrees, many PhDs as well, is speaking out something wrong, something gibberish in simple words. There is more than just more for me to speak. But then I believe it's enough for now. Enough to raise a doubt regards what the youth of tomorrow will see. What confusion could be brought in the youth of tomorrow because of reading something very impractical in their books today. Of course, just because I see this, I can't avoid the education system. I can't avoid studying and going to school because I will be the person becoming the failure tomorrow. Like, there is such a situation, such a fix, such a particular type of a boundary or a perimeter around a student's life for that reason. In simple words, there is a lot more to be done, not alone but together. Let's join hands and come up. Let's make the dreams of our visionary leaders true, practical, etc. Because in simple words, the first and second rankers aren't the only literate persons, aren't the only educated. Every person, mentally or physically ill, could become literate as well if we aim to make that society. Thank you.